morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Shit, you sure as shit ain't Seamus.
No. What the hell happened?
Don't you even say good morning? Say good morning.
More handsome.
We upgraded, apparently. Jesus, why am I screaming? The damn thing is right in front of me.
We got a grown-up leprechaun now?
We got a grown-up leprechaun.
Yes, I've been Lucky Charms.
Good morning, everybody. This is Duncan Ramon Echevarria. Welcome to the Morning Maduro. I'm going to start now from my left, your right, that way. This is Mike the Man Striegel, our
Morning.
liaison from the German embassy, visiting with us this morning, handling all things.
Yeah, I gotta go. We gotta do this quick. My papers are running out.
Okay. His papers are running out. Mine are solid. I am a Cuban American allowed in the great country of the USA, US of A. And this is
Carter Dyson. I'm from China, but coronavirus free.
got nothing. I'm gonna drink coffee, man.
My mother had me tested. It's cool.
It's gonna be one of those. It might not be a very long show, but it's gonna be one of those. I can tell you that for a fact.
Yes, this is gonna be good.
So, our dear correspondent from the Marine Corps is doing a service duty this weekend, and
What, you mean he's got?
yeah, he's gonna be doing like car washes in Brazilian
community
G-strings.
service?
This time, I am gonna put a picture of him in some weird, like a cutout of his head, like in some weird, car wash environment with like a G-string or some shit like that, or something or other. But we have a true cigar geek with us. A geek, one of these guys that is like truly knowledgeable. Carter, you briefly did a stint. A tenure.
Oh, it was like my first job.
Your first job
Yeah.
was where?
At JR's Tobacco.
JR's Juniors Tobacco.
Juniors.
Here locally in Statesville, right?
Yes. That
So-
kind of planted the seed.
How old were you?
16.
It wouldn't happen now.
Yeah.
It wouldn't happen now.
Yeah, 16, and then when I turned 18, when it was legal, that's when we started smoking cigars.
Nice, dude. So you were there for how long?
Oh, shoot. 4 years, maybe?
That's pretty cool, man. So you were high school. You're smoking cigars probably. What by the time you graduated, you were a senior or something like that when you said, "My first cigar."
Yeah, that's when I had my first cigar. My grandfather was in World War II and all that. And growing up, when I was younger,
You just shortened one of the greatest things that ever happened in history. World War II and all that.
That's how he talked to me.
There you
about
go.
it.
It was nothing.
Yeah,
we were
yeah.
there. We
I
did
was
some
in World
stuff.
War II, people died, and we
Came
won.
back.
Yeah,
We won.
All right, spoiler alert, we won. But I can remember growing up, he smoked mainly machine-made cigars. But you're a kid, you just see your hero smoking cigars, and I guess that's what kind of implants in. You're like, well, that's a cool thing to do.
Papa. I don't know because up here I learned that a lot of guys it's Papa or Grandpa to you. What
I
was
was Papa.
Papa? Oh, well. See that's I like what you said. You a hero.
Yeah, absolutely, 100% my hero.
So I've heard you talk about your grandpa before, and you sort of light up because of his work ethic when you talk about it, and he was basically a self-made man and a man of the soil, a man of the earth, and stuff like that as well. So
Yeah, after he got out of the army, he was a brick mason for 50 years.
wow, I'm telling you, it doesn't get more simple, hardworking, and honest than a man who just does work with his hands.
Yeah, it's a true definition of a real life superhero to me, in my eyes.
I love that, man. That's fantastic. I'm almost 50. I'm 48 years old, and as is Mike over here, he takes me by just 3 days. He's my senior by 3 days, but
Don't you forget that.
I truly love Mike hearing. I don't know if I want to call it a commencement story when you start your smoking of a good cigar or a good origin story, but I love the fact that you have that history behind you. I love the fact that you look back so fondly and lovingly upon a man who impacted your life, and that he was a cigar person also.
Yeah.
Whether it was machine made or not.
Yeah.
But I gotta ask you now, because we all have our first cigar. Do you remember what it was? Your first cigar? What experience?
First cigar, then I don't really remember. First cigar, kind of got back out of it, came back in a few years later, but I do remember, and unfortunately hate to admit it, it was a acid.
Well,
Cuban,
this segment is not
Yeah.
sponsored by Acid, so fuck you anyways. Who cares?
A Casa, the 1800 cc, I think it was.
1400 cc. If you're gonna talk shit, get it right for God's sakes.
So that was the first one.
Mine was worse than that.
So you kind of, you smoke the candy ones until you go, well, this shit ain't as good as I thought it was, and then you graduate into real cigars, and then you're off to the races.
It's true.
I sort
Hey.
Listen, I'm gonna say it like this. I got nothing against True Estate. I think that they are a fantastic company overall. I've always said this to everybody. I'm not an infused cigar smoker. I love everything that their partner company Joya de Nicaragua does.
Yeah.
I like the Herrera Estelí series. Once Willie Rodriguez came on board, anything that was done that's what I call a standard line cigar, I'm a big fan of. If you enjoy acids, listen, there's nothing wrong with that. Acid has an enormous multi-billion-dollar market that pursues it and maintains it. So there's got to be something to that effect.
Well, the other side of the coin of acid is once you get to that second half of a bigger acid, you are actually getting into real long filler cigars.
Absolutely.
So that's when you start to go, well, this is what an actual cigar tastes like. Let me take the sugar off of it and see what a real cigar tastes like, even if it is another Drew Estate, because that's what you're familiar with. And now you're starting to figure out how to smoke cigars.
I got to say like this also. I have in the past. I don't smoke them because I had to have the experience of why I don't want to smoke them. So a lot of times when I tell people if I don't like a cigar, I'm not gonna tell you I don't like it because it sucks. That's never gonna be out of my mouth. I'm gonna tell you the reasoning behind it. So you're very much spot on. I have smoked the Toast. It's one of my favorite. Within that line, I'll say it because I enjoyed the smoke when I was able to eliminate the sweetness and all the weird stuff out of it. I did enjoy. Construction-wise, was on point.
They burn great.
Nothing wrong with the burn. I have smoked the Cuba and the Cuba Maduro. Those are about the only three that I do because they come the closest to the smoking style that I do enjoy. I just have to, when I smoke those, begin the process in my mind of eliminate all the other stuff that you don't like so you can look for the things that you do like. And you're right. They are long filler. They're well crafted. They're fantastic cigars for those who pursue that. I understand that to me it's just not my preference.
Yeah, but you have the knowledge behind that to know, otherwise. If you're just starting out and you really don't know anything else about it, that's like I say, it's a good way of dipping your toe into it.
And the other one is because you having worked also on the retail side of things as well. One of the things that I do like about Carter is when he comes in, I mean, we have great back and forth cigar discussions. I think it's also up to you, the consumer, to not be afraid to talk to the tobacconist. Say, hey, this is where I'm at. Who farted? I asked, but somebody did. This guy.
Whoever
It's all right.
smoked it,
It's all right.
Yeah,
It's
I'll
all
go
right.
with
It's
that.
all right. It's all right. So somebody, one of these two farted.
No.
Residuals.
Jamie. Thanks, Jimmy. Jimmy has now inundated the entire humidor with a fart.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jimmy.
You're welcome.
Jimmy Knight, for those who don't know, is a fantastic individual up until now. Now he's a total asshole. And I mean that in a good Christian way. Thanks, Jimmy, on behalf of all of us. That being said, okay, so I lost track of thought. I have no idea what So don't be afraid as a consumer to talk to your tobacconist. Say, hey, I'm starting out. I've smoked acids. I like them, but what else is there? Or I'm starting out. What do you recommend? And if he just automatically goes and points out the acid line or the sweet stuff or the infused cigars, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Just one of the things that I would say is, can you put together a selection of cigars, maybe that are lighter, easier, not heavy, and if in there you put something that's infused, that's fine. Definitely communicate. I mean, on the retail side, that's one of the things that I really do enjoy, just talking to people and saying, if that's what you're looking for, not a problem, I'll help you. But if you're looking for something else, then, talk to that customer.
Well, and if someone comes to you and they go, well, these are on sale right now for 2 for $3, that's not the one you want to talk
Yeah,
to. You want
yeah.
to talk to the person that goes, well, that's a Nicaraguan cigar. Here is this brand, and this brand.
Mm-hmm.
They're all Nicaraguans. This is going to be your full. This is going to be your mild. This is going to be your light. What do you prefer?
And on a transition of full, by the way, because I want to hear your first time story is today we're smoking a GTO painkiller, Little Maduro Robusto.
Very good cigar.
All right,
We're
so
recording again.
okay, so we're back on. Hey, thank you.
Thank you for your technical assistance.
Jimmy,
He's redeemed himself.
our producer, has come back from a failure of a massive fart, and now he has
Redeemed himself.
Thank you. So long and short of it, we're back to smoking the damn cigar. So we're smoking a painkiller Maduro.
Yes.
Wonderful little smoke. Calibri Deep V Cutter. This segment not sponsored by Calibri Deep V Cut. So thanks, Calibri. You know, what can I tell you?
But seriously, buy one. They're great.
Yeah, but they are effing great, dude. They're
Why-
fucking great. They're,
There you go. I was gonna say,
I
what
was
the hell
like,
you
I
doing?
know. I just listen. It's that damn NyQuil. Don't ever take NyQuil at 5 o'clock in the morning thinking that you're gonna be right as rain by 8 o'clock. You're not. You're
It says right on the bottle, at least 8 hours.
yeah. Well, you know, I'm not one of the brightest light bulbs in the pack or whatever the terminology is.
Sharpest tool in the shed, something like that.
That too. Yeah, I bought a wine cooler, thinking.
No, not a Bartles and James wine cooler.
Yeah, no,
An
no. I mean,
actual
like, a nice one.
refrigerator.
The things are like what, $300-$400. I mean, I got it for $15 after I cajoled them down at over there at Special Treasures on the street. Great spot, by the way. One in Statesville. Stop in at Special Treasures. Tell them you know me.
Duncan has a reputation.
They're
Yeah,
really
yeah.
never gonna sell you shit. Then.
Yeah.
So the long and short of it, the thing is, what do you call it? It's called a sealed system.
yes.
So
Would be correct.
$15 for a paperweight. That's what it ended up being. So great.
Or a Target.
Or a shooting target. So, Mike, we're just going to today talk about our first time stories, which I think is kind of cool. I mean, we all have them. What was that amazing
I don't
cigar?
know. Well, looking back on it, it was not near as amazing as Carter's story.
There's nothing amazing about smoking an acid. I'm just saying that. Other than that, I like the
Well, I
background of the
I sold it
of the
well.
grandfather.
I
but,
sold it well.
But you did.
Thank you.
All right, well, you guys can be the judge on this
You
one.
were like a theater major or something. I sold it well.
Clark, I knew him well.
Yeah.
You know, Seamus, there might be a blood fight between you. We might have to like alternate or some shit. You know, one of these. I don't know. I'm just saying, Seamus. Next week it's all three of you guys. I'm out. I'm gonna be just behind the camera or something.
With cue cards?
Say this fucking shit. Say it. Say it. What was the comedian that did that shit in that movie? The guy with the long hair.
Oh, that was Sam Kinison.
Say it.
Oh,
say it. All right. I'll say it. Yeah. You guys are pussy. That's what he was. That was the college. Rodney Dangerfield goes
Yep.
back to college.
Yep.
Great movie.
Yep.
Okay.
Excellent.
To your story. Go ahead.
Well, my first cigar was not near as great as Carter's, the acid. Mine was, I don't know if many people remember this one, Dutch Masters.
Oh, good stuff. Dutch Masters.
That was mine. I got those from a local store, walk-in tobacco place, and the only reason I picked the Dutch Masters is because my dad used to smoke them years ago.
Right.
Nothing
And
wrong with that.
then he quit and everything because of sinus issues, whatever. And they're not a bad cigar, really light compared to what I like now.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, there's almost...
More of a White Owl fan myself. We continue.
Well, yeah, okay.
Just
I don't know,
saying.
yeah.
Nice
But
construction.
if I tried to smoke one of those now, it'd be like trying to smoke a glorified cigarette. Because they're so light compared to what I am used to now.
Glorified cigarette.
Yeah.
So I see a tie-in. You have amazing fatherly figures that obviously that it influenced a little bit of the idea of having a cigar and whatnot. Your grandfather, your dad, and we all have the weird cigar story. I mean, I've said mine a few times in the past, actually a shit ton amount of times, but it was my cousins and I, and this was a long time ago, and it was around the time that Opus X had just launched, and I knew zero about that particular brand or that particular cigar. So we were just celebrating. We were just, just going to be a guys' night at the house. They were visiting, and we went outside. And that night, I believe that we had a good liquor, like a good bottle of cognac, and it was up to me to go get the cigars. So I went into, now I'm from Miami, and I lived in Coral Gables. For those who do not know, Coral Gables it's a nice city within the Miami-Dade County area. And it's a little bit on the higher end, some of the shopping districts there. So I went to this really cool, high-end cigar joint. And I said the two dumbest expressions. What's the best, most expensive cigar you got here? Automatically, the L for loser was on my forehead. I was like, what a douchebag this guy is. So the guy, I don't know what the prices at that time, but I know they have changed a lot. The guy said, well, I got these tins, they're 3 each, just came in. And I believe I paid like $100 and some odd for a tin of 3 Opus X Robustos. So they're like $33 a stick back in the days. It's gotten cheaper, but holy Moses, I dropped $100 on 3 sticks, went back to the house, and we're lighting up. My oldest cousin Laz looks at me and he goes, "You're right," and I go, "Dude, this is great. This is good." I'm huffing, I'm puffing, and I don't even know what the hell I'm doing, and I start turning as green as anything, man.
Did you make the rookie mistake of inhaling?
Oh, I don't. You know what? The funny thing is, I don't even think I did inhale. It was just the fact that I don't know what I did wrong, but I maybe less than a quarter of an inch into that cigar, and I was feeling sick. I turned around and I hurled chunks into my mom's rose bushes, and my cousins were laughing at me. They're like, "What's going on, Susie? You need a hug?" It's like I ended up walking the entire neighborhood block a couple of times just to get some air and drinking water. I mean, I was a hot mess, dude. But it was an expensive experience, but it taught me a great deal. I mean, it did not dissuade me from getting into more. It just said to me, hey, this is not how you start. You between the cognac and the cigars, we had dropped a shit ton of money for that experience, which to me did not end up sitting too well. But it was funny. I mean, afterwards, I did start experimenting with more, I guess, milder cigars, the classic Macanudo or Monte Cristos, everything at the time. But living in Miami, particularly the Coral Gables area, you're also not far from Little Havana. Little Havana is where a lot of these great guys, like, the Padrones, they have their offices there. Pepin Garcia was there. Ernesto Perez Carrillo was there. Padilla was there. I mean, so many great people were rolling cigars, were starting their businesses or had started their businesses from right there. Oliva was only maybe a 30-minute ride north, as was Perdomo. Christian and Roa was, again, all these great people were there. And it was a fun experience to learn and hang out and visit and kind of grow up a little bit more within my cigar experience with these people who were masters and are still masters in my eyes.
Okay, fantastic story. Mike.
Yes.
So this guy just
right by me.
Sat here.
Yeah.
And let me spill my guts about starting with an acid.
Right.
And then comes to you.
Yeah.
And said, "Hey, what did you start with?"
Right.
And then you hit with some machine made, whatever.
Right.
Knowing the entire time in his back pocket, this dude is going to pull out, "Oh, my first one was an Opus X."
But I didn't even know what I could appreciate it, man.
You're going to sit here and just trounce over it. Hey, good job. You guys look like...
No.
That's exactly what it is. I agree with you.
All right, so that was the true story.
Let me get this switchblade out and slice your heads off.
The true story is I smoked a black and mild, and I was all in. There you go. So
was it a wood tip?
Wood tip, wine,
completely acceptable.
Black and mild, and
don't you give me this plastic tip
and I had a Colt 45 40 in my hand as I was pounding that shit and smoking it.
Were you wearing a wife beater?
I was classic cholo. I went with
the top button and everything.
Yeah, I went all in. I mean, I had my Dickies. I mean, I was all in, brother.
Completely acceptable. Now you've redeemed yourself.
I came back from the border of being a bourgeoisie asshole.
I just smoked an Opus the first time.
Who smokes an Opus for the first cigar?
What the
fuck?
hell?
What? You know, fuck you. You're a fag. There you
was
go.
just waiting
In
for
the
him.
words of Bill Burr, what a fag. Nobody smokes Opus.
Yeah.
Waiting for him just to come back. Well, Don Carlos came out and rolled one for me real quick. And I was like, let me try this out. Seems like a pretty cool guy.
Yeah.
Wonder what he's accomplished in his life. This guy.
Yeah.
Opus.
Yeah. And we
Black and
why we're
mild.
here.
There you go. It's a lot. Black and mild. I was going full on cholo. We had parked the ride with the hydraulics outside. So
Such
no,
a
that's
I feel
bullshit.
so used.
Now wait a minute, Cart. He's lying to us now because he has no idea what hydraulics are.
it was the
This
thing
is
that
true.
goes,
Strong argument.
all that shit. I don't know.
Yeah.
Isn't that what like the
No, it's
Saw in a
Transformers
rap
use?
video.
Yeah.
Transformers.
Yeah, something like that.
More than meets the eye.
No, more than likely, his story was the first bougie story that he told us.
Yeah.
But it was just the stupidest thing, man. Because okay, how many times? Well,
But then again, that's a good argument. What's worse? Is it worse to when your first cigar is just some bullshit out of the bottom shelf or some
Right.
sugar-coated piece of candy? Or is it worse to not have a damn clue what you're doing and you're smoking something as great as an Opus X that it could have been a black and mild. You wouldn't have known the difference.
from the perspective, though, interesting enough, of the tobacconist or the retailer, it's not that I think that they took advantage of me. It's just that I went in full-blown idiot mode, and I've had folks here and in other shops that I
You
worked.
actually gave him the opportunity to screw you up.
Yeah,
is
I
what
mean,
you did.
they said, "Hey, man,
You set the ball on the tee and he hit it out.
there's two questions in that statement that I said, and they were both asinine because what's the best cigar you got here and what's the most expensive? Well, neither one can sometimes, they may not be in the same cigar. It could be, what's the best cigar? It could be a $8 cigar. That's amazing. And the most expensive cigar might not be the best cigar.
It all depends on your
I mean,
palate.
you don't have a Gurkha, Your Royal Majesty here anymore.
Well, His Royal Highness
His Royal Highness.
is in the back room. We hide that. Hey, Steve Cookie, I love you, bro. Nothing against Gurkha, but really, His Royal Highness for $1,000. Wow. That being said, love you, Steve. You're awesome.
Wow.
And interestingly enough, I had the opportunity years ago to smoke with Kaizad Hansodia, and I did not even know that it was the guy next to me, and I was ranting about some weird shit about Gurkha, and he goes, "Oh, that's good to know."
You ranting about something?
Yeah.
When does that ever
Are
happen?
you okay? Was you okay?
The funny, long and short of it, I was waiting for my meeting with my Gurkha rep at IPCPR, and I see this very elegant, tall, Indian gentleman in a nice suit. I says, "Hey man, you mind if I sit here?" I'm like, "No, not at all." And he goes, "You like the cigar?" He goes, "Yeah." And then I started going off on like the previous Gurkhas, how this, and I mean, I was just talking shit and trash left and right about Gurkha. And I said, but in the past few years, I've seen that they have redeemed themselves. They have a lot of stuff that has come out that is enjoyable, and that are really, really good steps to recapturing the consumer again. All of a sudden, the rep comes up to me and says, "Hey, I see that you're in great company here." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, this nice guy. We've just been chit chatting." And he goes, "Yeah, that's Mr. Kaizad Hansodia, owner of Gurkha." And I was like, "Oh shit, let me take my foot out of my mouth." And he goes, "No, man, no, everything is cool. I appreciate
You actually got an honest answer out
the
of somebody.
honesty that you told me about some of the problems and what you see that we have done this the right way." So we had actually a great visit that day, and that's one of my highlights for that. But no, dude. One of the things that I always tell everybody is, listen, if you're coming in and you're a consumer, definitely don't be afraid to talk to the tobacconist. No matter what, you're not going to look bad. You're going to look bad if you buy the wrong stuff because you're thinking, "Oh, I'm not gonna ask you any questions. I'm gonna grab. There's a $20 cigar. That's gotta be good shit. That's got $20. That's gotta be good." No, it don't gotta be good. It doesn't. As a matter of fact, yesterday we had a gentleman, first time in here, very nice guy, was walking around, and I showed him a few of the different what I call good starter cigars. Everything from the GTO Connecticut. I showed him also the La Aurora Connecticut as well. I mean, I gave him some good options. And then he said, "What's the most expensive cigar you have here?" So I pointed out to him, well, I have the Macassar, which is a Cohiba product for $30 a stick. I said, but let me tell you why it's $30. In that process of explaining the reasoning behind the why, I felt a lot better that if he did want to buy that, then he would understand that he has now made a more knowledgeable, more understood purchase.
Yeah, you've done your due diligence.
Yeah,
And
fully informed.
I think a lot of times some tobacconists and some sellers or whatnot, they don't give a rat's ass. They just, oh, this is great. The Cohiba Macassar, that's what those big ballers, they smoke that shit.
Yeah,
oh.
but the where you're going to find that mostly is in retailers, not tobacco shops, like your gas stations or stuff like that. That's where you're going to find that.
Yeah,
kind of stuff.
like if you go into like a little mom pop little tobacco shop, some shit like that, they're not gonna do it because they don't even know. They just buy it from a broker.
Cigar of the month. You can get two of these.
There you go. But if you
you do run into that a lot in the little hole in the wall strip mall.
But see,
cigar places.
I run into the problems way more than that in established cigar environments, believe it or not, where the guys should have a little bit more knowledge, where the guys should take a little bit more time to learn, to educate and help that purchase. I've always said this, and as corny as this shit is, I don't sell cigars. I have not sold a single cigar in 20 plus years of doing this. I sell hopefully an experience. If I help you and if I treat you with the respect that you deserve, you'll come back. At the end of the day, that's what I'm selling. If you buy the most expensive cigar, great, man, that's fantastic. God bless you. But if you buy the best cigar for you, then that's the real deal right there.
Mm-hmm. And that's why you got a lot of your customers coming back to this place. That's why you had 25, 30 people in here last
Mike,
week.
I only gave you $10. Stop talking so much nice shit. I only gave you $10. This is not a $20, thing.
All right, well, I'll stop right there then, okay?
There you go.
That's a $10 ticket.
All right, so we've been smoking this a little bit. Let's go back to this cigar real quick before we begin the wrap up. We got a few more minutes. So, Carter, you're a cigar geek. What have you liked about that cigar?
Have way better palate than me.
It's smooth. It's just a smooth cigar. It's a fuller size on the fuller side. Smooth. You're not going to get a lot of pepper. It's not going to blow you out of the gate. It's going to roll in real good. It's going to give you nice flavor, and great coffee cigar to have with coffee. Great cigar. It's burning great.
What do you think, Mikey? What do you like about it?
I agree with most of that, but this also goes really good with a nice IPA too.
Ooh. The reason you say maybe because the IPA has a way to kind of cut a little bit of the heaviness, or
a little bit, yeah. I mean,
or you like that bitterness of the IPA.
Well, an IPA in the morning is divine anyway, right?
Of course, that's what all us Irish people.
Drunks, fucking drunks. I swear to God.
Let's get the party.
Let's bring the German out of him. Yeah. Beer any time of the day is great.
Yeah, especially after a run.
Run what?
Yeah, you're right. I don't.
Yeah.
I was like, wait a minute. Run what? What do you? After you run the tractor in the back 40, maybe?
Run my mouth.
I agree with both of you guys. I enjoy Maduros. I enjoy full-bodied, full-flavored cigars. I don't think this is a full strength.
No.
I'd say strength is about a medium-ish.
Yeah, I've had stuff that's had a lot more flavor, hit you a little harder. Mm-hmm. But this is a good
cup of coffee.
Mm-hmm. Really good.
Dare I say, let's switch gears and say, you know what? I'm a Scotch and a drinker, so a good Scotch with this, at nighttime after a nice steak dinner. To wrap it up, and you're not feeling overly heavy, but I think it will do really well.
Yeah.
A good bourbon as well because of the flavor profile. So
Guinness, it'd be great with Guinness.
A nice Guinness, again, something that has flavors that can complement this. I think, it's a good cigar for almost any time of the day.
Yeah. I mean, usually, not a lot of people start a day off with a full Maduro, kick you in the ass kind of cigar.
They're not us. Fuck
but
you.
this is a good one to grab. Like I said, it starts out smooth. It doesn't. There's not a lot of fire and heat off of the beginning of it.
No.
It's really creamy and smooth. It's a great cigar.
And I think it's very enjoyable for let's say that you've been smoking mild cigars for a long time, and you're now ready to transition into something that's a little bit beefier. This cigar is not going to kill you.
Right.
Don't be afraid of these dark cigars. Sometimes you're like, oh man, because I don't smoke Maduros. They're too strong. Well, Maduro is just aging. It's just, basically it's like taking the damn banana and letting it sit for a week. Well, you just Maduroized your banana, or whatever.
Yeah,
you know?
but
I like a Maduro banana.
I don't know that I want to eat one that's been too far Maduro.
Well, no, I mean, but
Maybe more of a Habano banana.
There you go. Yeah. Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
But that's really it, and you can find some great, richer, fuller-bodied flavored cigars when you're ready to transition that are not gonna kick you in the gonads. Don't let the name scare you. Painkiller. It's a fantastic smoke.
Yeah.
I think it's really good. The owner of Carlos Rodriguez, he's a doctor. He's a surgeon as well. He is a captain in the United States Air Force. As a matter of fact, he's right out of Alabama's Maxwell Air Force Base.
But most importantly, he's just a good guy.
Oh, dude, he is a trip, dude. That little
he's just a
motherfucker
good guy.
is a fun as shit guy.
Yeah, you sit there and have all kinds of great conversations with him.
Very personable.
Yeah.
He hasn't met a stranger, I don't think, ever.
No, dude.
And if you've been to an event with him, he always remembers who you are.
Yeah. I mean, Oscar is a good guy. And speaking of events, on the 21st, we have Jeffrey Amendola Cigars.
That's always that's
I
a
know
good-
you're a fan. I know
Yeah,
you're a
Amendola.
fan also. Jeff's gonna be here right here at this table, doing his wonderful rolling in front of everybody.
Is he going to be holding a rolling class?
I'll tell you what, it may not be a rolling class, but I think it's gonna be a lot of fun because we can all he welcomes people to literally sit around the table with him. He answers every question. He shows you every step of the way. I mean, he'll even invite you to say, do you want to roll one? Do you want to, and he'll guide you through it, man. To me, that is a hands-on family. It's just really, really good.
You can tell he loves the business
Yeah.
because he loves to talk cigars. You can sit there, walk up to him, not know him from Adam, and he will have a conversation for an hour just about anything.
One of my favorite parts is the title of his company. It's Amendola Family Cigars.
Yeah.
And so that word family, man, he really exemplifies. He talks about his kids all the time. He talks about his family. I mean, he talks about just doing what he does for the family. I think that it's a beautiful thing when you do what you do for those right reasons.
It's a great origin story too of how he got the business off the ground.
He was a cop.
Yeah, cop
Yeah.
selling cigars out of his trunk of his car.
Yeah, I mean, literally, holy shitola, dude. It's funny. Years ago, I met him down in South Carolina, and again, sometimes kismet or destiny or whatnot will put that same person again in the future in your life. So he had come down. I mean, literally just repping his own stuff all the way down to Tobacco Plus, where I was in Greer, South Carolina. And, it just was not the right fit at the time because I didn't know anything about it. And I said, no, Jeff, maybe in the future. And lo and behold, when I opened doors, I had his product lines. I've met him. I've dealt with him. He is truly an exemplary human being and a great, great guy to call a friend. And also because, you know what? He makes a fantastic cigar line. I mean, he does. You're not going to go wrong with that.
Yeah, if you see his band on a cigar, pick it up. It doesn't matter which one it is. It's a great cigar.
As a matter of fact, he
it's
just
very
got
good.
picked up by Junior Cigars.
He's on Juniors?
He's in Juniors. He's on. Congratulations for that, because that's always a good thing. I know that's an extra few headaches because that means you got to amp up production and you got to rework your contracts and your deals with them. But it's a good problem to have. I mean, when you're a little bit of a guy and you get one of the big boys saying, "I want you," that's a good problem to have.
Well, with the current climate change or climate we have with the cigar market, to see the little guy taking the next step up,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
it's good all around.
Yeah, very good thing.
So listen, everybody, real quick. We've talked about our origin stories. If you have one, or if you have something that's really unique, post it in the comments. Definitely subscribe, like the
and
page,
subscribe, yeah.
man. We're trying to do this. We're simple. We're evolving as we can. Last week, after 3.5 hours of editing, moron that I am, deleted the damn show. So I will get this one
Yeah,
out.
that was fun.
Yeah, that's not fun for me at that point.
Yeah.
3.5 hours of working.
Well, it was fun, everybody that won't see this.
Yeah,
Thanks.
yeah. So if we don't make it,
Welcome to the family,
to
Carter.
you,
Yay!
if we don't make
Glad I
it,
could be here.
we're doing everything we can. I'm just saying. Hell, even I forgot to even turn the lights on last time, so this is a little bit better.
Yeah, at least we don't have jaundice this time.
No, man. So we talked about our origin stories, which is always fun.
Sun. I feel
We've
so much
smoked
better.
What the hell are you talking? Jesus.
Jaundice. You gotta get in the sun.
Yeah, we gotta get a
Or
little
you
sun.
Put the little heat lamp on.
A little heat lamp.
My kids had jaundice when they were born. I know this.
So what? They put them on like a heat lamp, like from Hardee's or something? Or
It's like a little towel that glows. It's pretty freaking cool. I'm not gonna lie. I'm like, you're sick and it's sad, but this looks cool. Whatever. They made
twisted.
it. They did it. They did it, everybody. Good, happy ending.
He's got two
I got
good-looking
yeah,
twins.
good.
You know, they're fine. They're healthy as horses.
Yeah.
All of
Yeah,
that. You know,
everything's good,
Jesus
everything's good.
criminy. So that being said. We smoked a really great cigar. Thank you very much, Dr.
Yes,
Rodriguez.
very good.
GTO
Thank you.
Cigars, Painkiller. We carry them. If you want them and you don't see them, hell, give me a call, send me an IM, text me. I got you. The segment and this entire show also is sponsored by, and it truly is, by the Viajante Stogie Road. The Stogie Road Edición 35. The main man, Kerry Horney. Thanks to him, we got a mic. But this mic is by Kerry Horney, so thank you. If you're not smoking also Stogie Road Edición 35, I mean, come on. I mean, what the hell's wrong with you?
Give it a try.
What's
You'll
wrong with
enjoy
you?
it.
Give me a
You
call.
will really enjoy it.
Not a barber pole person ever. I don't really usually smoke barber poles. His flawless.
Yes,
Smoke it.
excellent.
Grab it. It's great.
We launched the website www.donanolicigars.com, DONANOLI cigars.com. Get on there. It's going to be easy. It's fun to navigate. All the products are there. We have a direct link to what we carry in the shops. If you like it, order it. Boom, we take care of you. Our PDF full catalog is in there as well. 2,000 SKUs, whatever you're looking for, we could definitely do that for you as well. So it's been fun morning, man. Carter, definitely want to have you back in the future because I enjoy the hell out of this guy.
Yeah.
Fantastic individual. From day one, he's been supporting this shop. Hell, he drags people off the street and brings them in here sometimes, just like he did at a festival that we were at Hobson Harmony. So for that, I'm always in your debt, man. The love that he shows this shop, my mom, and for us. You know, it's always good. Mike, of course, you know, our liaison from the German embassy. It's always fun to have you here. Jimmy back there smoking his cigar, not farting this time, thank God. You know, just a bit, but it's okay.
Well, he has walked away a couple times.
Yeah, he did. He said, you know, I stepped away. I'm going to make sure that when I cut loose.
Small crop dusting.
So on behalf of all of us, listen, like I always say, man, smoke well. We know we do. We're not going to try to time that shit. But, you know, listen, thank you, Oscar, GTO. Thank you, Stogie Road Edición 35. And thank you, guys. Thank you very much for you guys. God bless and enjoy. Have a great, great week. Jimmy, if you don't mind.